Go for it. Hello. We have only one person.
Hi.
Hey. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Glad. Okay, so I think we're going to have a relatively short meeting today. So just to go quickly over the work item tracking. Jason, any update on basic server-side validation?
Yeah, PR's out for the Galley validation service.
Okay.
Once that's approved, then we'll have some server-side validation in place. Off by default, there's some follow-up PRs to clean things up, to remove dependencies on Mixer, and to get that turned on by default for point 9. So point 8 will be off by default, and then we'll have some try to get it enabled end-to-end testing at least for a month. So at least we have a few months of testing before the ships.
Okay. So these are all bundled together, right? Pilot installation change, mixing installation change, documentation, investigate, CRDs, cube, server-side validation.
Yeah, so documentation is a follow-up.
Okay.
At least the core functionality, though, is there.
Okay. Okay, as for Galley Alpha, I have a PR out for doing the resource syncing. I am going through the code reviews, and I will have another follow-up that completes the binary with like full implementation. At the same time, I am trying to write an integration test for the whole thing so that we can at least have some good coverage. Okay, Joy is out this week.
So I wanted to chat. So yeah, so Galley is going to be in 1.0. And we're going to use it as to support the validation stuff, but not to do the conversion by
default, not by default.
Okay.
You can.
It will. I think in point break it will ship. And if somebody, because it's an off component, if somebody wants to play around with it, it's not. They don't have to jump through too many hurdles. It's already there. They just reconfigure it.
That sounds good.
Okay, so the other one, I think the only other item that we can discuss is the package and CRD reorganization and Mixer. Christopher, do you have any updates on that? Hello.
So,
oh, I think he's.
about the switch.
I think we can barely hear you.
Yeah, you're too far away.
Can you shout?
Is this better?
Yeah.
The microphone thingy was up.
Okay.
So yeah, we talked about just changing that one piece such that instead of passing in a string, we pass in a map, and that's a fairly minimal change. I have that test. I'm testing that locally currently. It seems to be working, so I'll push it up for review, but that doesn't really bias much of anything in actually completing the task. I think still with Mandar, there is changes that need to happen in the protos so that we can actually change naming and consolidate the CRDs. But based on just some back and forth emails, it seems like something we don't need in 0.8, that perhaps push this out to 0.9.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we talked about combining that with the like removing the per adapter CRDs.
Yeah, so both work. So okay, just to set some context, Mixer has custom configuration CRDs per each type of adapter and instance. The plan for Mixer is to actually consolidate them so that there's only one type of instance CRD, and then there's only one type of handler CRD. So that is work on Mandar's plate. And Chris is actually trying to make sure that we align the API group names and things like that, right? So both are disruptive, user visible changes that's gonna have like backwards compatibility related problems with previous deployments. So it's probably better to just do this, like, yank the band-aid only once and not twice. So we are trying to coordinate among each other to actually get that work done.
Yeah, so do we need a branch for this, maybe, or to do both sets of work?
I think up to the point of the actual changes, we can, I think we can check in a couple of CRs without disrupting things. But after that, yeah, so we're gonna have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so either we put it behind a command line flag, or if that's too much work, we have to do it separately and check it in atomically.
Yeah, I think so. In that email, if we do the plumbing of API group to kind mapping, that actually gives us a nice way to put things behind the flag. So yeah, I think we can do that.
That's fair. Yeah, but the other stuff, the Mandar's work.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
I don't know if you can put that behind the flag.
I think you can, right? So we can actually, but it's gonna probably require a lot of temporary throwaway code just to support that case. Okay. All right. So, any questions about the work track? Moving on. So, all right. So there's config fields default value. So I'm going through the discussion list. Is there any stakeholders for this online? I believe Joy and DM would be the main stakeholders, but I'm not very familiar with the problem. I just read the bug description. Unless we have the stakeholders, I want to move on to the other one.
I did have a discussion yesterday with DM and Lumen about. I guess it's not quite related, but they want the same concept as Mixer, global stuff and per service stuff for the RBAC support. So I told them to just follow the Mixer model. So they wanted to have global resources and local resources, and at least let's be consistent. Dedicated namespace, put this stuff in there, and then so they'll use the same namespace as Mixer does. So we'll have that set with the expectation that we'll all rip that out in a couple months once we have our hierarchy outside Istio.
Okay.
But for 1.0, it's going to be consistent at least with Mixer.
So when we have it outside Mixer, would that be a problem for them in their use case?
No. So yeah, they just want to avoid. They want to be able. So that's one thing we need to consider is if we have a hierarchy that's outside of Istio where we compose these things together, there's got to be some way for stuff at the top to be forced down, not overridable, and some other stuff can be overridden. So the security people can just say this is required for the entire mesh, and the service providers at the bottom can't change that.
Okay.
So I think that's the kind of stuff that they're looking for.
Okay. All right. So allow individual API group and version for each config resource in Mixer. So this is the Christopher, did you add this one?
Most likely, we just covered that though. So.
Oh, okay. So is there anything further that we need to discuss on this?
Not from my side.
Okay.
Are we already done?
I like things being efficient. So are there any discussion topics, issues that we should talk about? All right. All right, I guess we're done.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
All right.